So when you are looking for the full-time employees, are you considering the seasonals who
Oh, yeah.
were good workers?
Yes, they are the first company. We look at our seasonals, so we have a program to do their seasonals. That if they'd like to go get their permit, they go get their permit for CDL. We give them training. We have two gentlemen within the bargaining who are trained to provide the classroom instructions now because the CDL requirements have changed. We give them their required hours on the truck, and we give them a truck to go get their test with. And we keep a couple openings because that is sort of the program. If they are successful in doing that transition, then there's a recommendation made to put them in as a permanent MEO, which is a driver. But some of the seasonals prefer, they don't want the responsibility of driving, or they just don't want, whatever reason, get a license. But yes, all the labor loaders last year that we hired all came from the good seasonals that were working already internally. And the 4 are granted in this budget. Those 4 they'll come from the seasonals that we have. Don't go outside. I don't think that would be fair. So they're promoted from within.
Okay. Thank you.
Go ahead, please.
So I remember last year we were talking about that that instructor, kind of in-house instructor. I think you were hinting to that a little bit right now. So that seems to be.
Yeah, we currently have 2 of them, and yes, when they do the in-house training that's required now for the federal motor carrier, and then after that, they, it doesn't have to be them to give them the road hours. Any driver, just like if you have a permit, you can get in with a licensed driver.
Okay.
So they'll drive a truck with one of the other licensed drivers. And then that trainer, though, the day that he feels confident and he wants to take his road test, that trainer will work with him all morning. We usually schedule the test early afternoon. They work with him all morning, to go over some of the things, pre-trip, different things like that. They take him to the, where the test is given, the road test is given, with one of our vehicles in the hopes that, they pass. If not, they get another chance. It's not like, they don't lose a job. Not everybody passes the test the first time.
So we do, since the implementation of this, we do have more CDL drivers. So
Yeah,
it's like we're okay.
3 or 4, 3 I know have gone through and gotten their licenses through it. And there's one right now who is trying to just get his required hours in so he can schedule his road test.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay. Go ahead, please.
You may have covered this. What are the tipping fees?
The tipping fees are the disposal. The trash that's hauled out, whether it's the MSW, which is municipal solid waste, or the recycles, or also the yard waste. We pay a tip fee to get rid of it. I mean, even though our yard waste goes to the county, we pay a tip fee. Our trash goes to the transfer station, but there's a tip fee to go into the landfill. The recyclables, same. So that's our cost for disposal.
Any other question on waste? All right, seeing none, I'll move to water. Well, that's a separate tab, all the way in the back. Derek, can you just briefly just run this back? And then
Sure.
we'll go into the expense.
Getting from Commissioner Farrier, you went through this first of the hearings. The water budget increased by 2.88% compared to 2024 adopted budget. Very small marginal increase of $282,000. There's no fee rate increases for the water budget, and what is being used is approximately $61,000 in appropriate fund balance.
Any question on the revenue? Seeing none, we'll go ahead, please.
Did you zero out the line we talked about before, FX 20401?
Yes.
Yes, we're we're making a list of changes that we did,
Okay,
so we're going through that, we're creating that list.
thank you.
And that's in part of it.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go into expense.
Didn't have specific questions on the expenses. Water administration didn't change very slightly, raises in IPS. There's an IPS 3 that now that there's a list established, that position will be filled. Longevity overtime slightly went up, but that's anticipation of, there was some longevity increases, so somebody hit a different milestone on longevity. Equipment, we did put $2,000 in for cases. There's a computer that's getting quite old downstairs, so we may have to replace that computer. Other expenses pretty much stayed the same. There was no change in other expenses. Commercial accounts, again, salary to our plumber. Longevity to go up by him because he hit the next tier for longevity. So very minor changes there.
So just
Go ahead, please.
Just to be clear, that's a step, that increase there?
Yeah,
For the plumber?
there's a step on longevity. So it's 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. So it does increase. That number comes straight from payroll. It goes based on their start date or their hire date. So if they hit that next milestone, there's another.
It's also based on the managerial thing that you guys have passed. Benefits.
Any other question on this section?
Reservoir supply, big cost is landscaping. We do have a contractor mowing the lawn out there now. They're doing also on the water well field, the contractor does that. We received quotes to do that earlier in the year. The first contractor never showed up. We went to the next one, which was the next highest one. And they're currently performing that. I think they probably did their last mowing last week. So weather's changing, so that should be done now.
Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, please.
So is there a reason that the SNAP crew cannot mow out there?
The snap group?
Or whoever mows all the other properties all over the city?
Oh, that's probably just it. They have all the other properties throughout the city to mow. There's usually 4 to 5 people that come and do the reservoir because of the hills there. So it's quite extensive. It takes about 4 hours, 4.5 hours for a crew to do that. And then they do the well fields on Rice Road. I don't know if everybody must be familiar where the reservoir is. So it's all hill. There are some flat areas that I used to maintain. I don't maintain no more.
So somebody else was already doing the hills anyway?
Yes, the hills were done. I was doing all the tops and the flats, yes.
And somebody else was doing the hills?
Yeah.
And the Rice Road?
I didn't know Rice Road.
No,
Somebody
they
else-
did.
They do Rice Road, yes.
Thank you.
Any other question? All right.
But you are saving some money there. I still answer all the calls.
Oh,
So there's no overtime. And if the phone was given to a other member, they would get $700-800 to hold the phone.
oh.
And then a 3-hour call out every time the alarm went off. So I still do that.
Thank you.
Pumping, again, salaries there, contractual, the number of employees haven't changed. Overtime, sick leave, obviously with the salaries going up, overtime goes up a little bit, so there's a little bump. Time and a half is time and a half, if the salaries go up. Biggest increase in the pumping is going to be the light power and gas, and that is the electric use, and the chemicals. Chemicals are going up on a regular basis. We bid them every year, and power goes up too. The amount of electricity that's being used isn't going up, but the rate for the electrical cost per kilowatt is going up. Below
That's
that,
about like almost $450,000 more.
those pumps are 300 horsepower pumps, pump a lot up there.
As of September, it's at 809,000 And that's not through September, that's actually the month prior.
Right.
So
We're at 30.
through, probably, July through middle of August, they're at 809,000.
Just for this department?
Just
Just
for
that long?
Just with that.
Yeah.
And you gotta realize too, we had a very dry, summer, so people used a lot of water. So we pumped, a little more water than normal, so.
Keep going. Any questions? If not, keep
Water distribution, and that's all the pipes, that's coming out of the Bureau of Service. Not any big changes there, some slight changes based on salaries. And then, of course, CSCA, has not settled their contract yet. Hydrants, we did drop a little bit, when I did the budget. I went through everything we had, our inventory. Last year, we put $100,000 into hydrants. We have extra hydrants down there that, we didn't have a really bad winter last winter, so a lot of hydrants did not get hit and destroyed. So, we do, bill insurance companies, when that happens, and pretty successful at getting reimbursement. But we do have a fair amount still inventory, so I did cut that back, so, it's a $50,000 cut there. Overall, I don't, Derek, the overall whole change on percent for water was, wasn't that,
Yeah, it was, 2.88%.
pretty flat, and there's no rate increases on water. This is-
Any questions on this section? Seeing none, we'll move to sewer.
The sewer budget, post 125 sewer budget, requests a 5.5% increase compared to the 24 adopted budget. This is an increase of 864,000 approximately. We suggest no increases in the fee rate for the post sewer budget. And we are using appropriated debt reserves of 261,000.
Any question on revenue? Seeing none, go ahead.
I do want to, looks like we're going up a bit in septic sludge and, well, of course, the interest. is-
21, 22 up,
Yep,
Yes.
I was just wondering,
that's a good thing.
I think it's a great thing, I just wanted to find out a little bit more about it. No, it's fantastic.
We have, we receive outside septic from haulers at the wastewater treatment plant. That material gets processed in our digesters, so we are taking in material from the outside haulers. They come in, anticipating that that's gonna grow a little bit more this year.
Thank you.
Any other question? If not, we'll move into expense. This one, flow, yeah. Next.
Salaries, they're not going up by much. If you look at the administrative salaries, 182 to 191, about $10,000. Some is contractual, some is management raises. There is an IPS in there, currently working there. Unsure what that'll be because that's CSEA again, that contract has to be settled. Sanitations per diem, no change in the number of employees, still 18. Those are all union members, so anything that'll be there is going to be contractual. Same longevity went down a little. We must have had somebody retire, so that dropped a little bit. Also with overtime, based on our to-date expenditures, I reduced that by about $6,000. I'm comfortable with those numbers. Actually, I'm comfortable with all the numbers I would put in the budget. Again, the out of grade, that is the masons, everything else is working, and as our salaries go up, those auto grades are gonna go up to a little bit more, so. Standby pay, that is for the emergency sewer truck, the emergency sewer truck. That's on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so contractually, those members get a standby pay for being on call for the weekends and holidays, so. Let's see, per diem overtime, based on what we spent, and where we are now, I think that's why you're gonna see the drop in our sanitary sewer compensation, from this year to last year, 107, 145.
Is that just based on staffing patterns because we're fully
Correct.
staffed?
We still have some openings to fill there, but again, when we do our budget, we look at where we are to date and where we think we're gonna be in a year from now. And, I work with my other department heads, to come up with a budget that we think is gonna be accurate and reflect what we're gonna spend next year. So the total sanitary sewer, from the 24 adopted budget is 1.727, and 25 is gonna be 1.714.
Any questions on this section? If not, we'll move to the
Sewage treatment and disposal,
Yes.
again, I don't know if you have any specific line items, but, staff has not changed, in those, the sewage treatment plant. We do have a couple open currently. I think I sent Anthony the vacancy request. I think there's two maintenance personnel and, I think 2 trainees, currently. We don't typically find operators, we start with trainees. Unfortunately, operators don't usually come over from another municipality, usually comfortable, so. Probably by we just lost one to retirement, so, about 2 weeks ago, so we'll probably be looking at filling that by the end of the year. So we wanna make sure there's no test scheduled for civil service, because we wanna make sure that we follow those rules and don't get somebody on and they can't get the test out.
So, the vacancies, is that what you're talking about? You plan on filling or the one that we
No, we'll
just
fill,
lost the individual?
we'll fill both of those. Typically, we try to do 10 operators, 10 operators, but normally there's one in, what we'll call one trainee. We'll probably have a couple trainees now. Again, the wastewater treatment plant, if you're a trainee, you take the civil service exam because we don't send somebody to school. We thought if they don't pass the civil service test, we're not going to retain them. So there's an expense to the city. There's a 2-week course for laboratory. There's a week course for activated sludge. That's a cost the city pays to send them to school, but we do that once they successfully complete their civil service exam. And then, depending on when they do that, we require a 3A license. We'd like to see a 3A license at the wastewater treatment plant. And that takes 4 years of experience at the plant before you can get a letter of, from us to sit down for the state exam. So you gotta get a letter of experience written by the city, and then they can sit for the exam.
Any other question?
There's a little bit of an increase in the overtime here, because again, the wastewater treatment plant is a 24/7 operation. So holiday, Saturday, Sundays, it doesn't shut down. So we do have to fill the shifts if we have an operator.
Any other question? These are the differences.
Yep. So, thank you, Anthony.
Seeing none, thank you so much. Appreciate you taking time to be back here.
Capital projects?
Yes, sorry. I think we already went through that. Were there any question on that?
We did that already.
Yeah, capital. Were there any questions that need to be addressed on the capital?
I have one that says ask Paul, I think, Mr. Lund kind went over, he said he wasn't really sure.
About the water and sewer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Do
okay,
you just want me to touch base quickly on
Yeah,
the
just-
capital for water? Well field improvements, typically we redevelop, try to do 2 wells a year, depending on the hours we put on the well. With the amount of hours we put on the wells, because of the warm summer last year, asked for $250,000 to try and do 2 wells, and that's where contractor comes in and redevelops those wells, cleans them, new well screens, we take the motors out, motors go get rewound. So it's what we call maintenance, on the wells. The water distribution system repairs and improvements, $350,000. That is, our water breaks and, replacing valves, insert valves. So we always try and do something every year. And then the other thing too is we always have some of those emergency ones that come up that we just can't handle. We have to have some money set aside in capital for these improvements. The HDVN, our plumbing inspector / plumber, his van is, I think it's got to be about 15 years old. It's falling apart. So he does need a new van. He travels all over the city. He does a lot of work in all our facilities because he's also the plumber. So whether it's any city facility, he's rebuilding all the pipes that the vandals destroyed at Hillhurst Park. The pickleball people didn't have water a few weeks ago because somebody broke in and took all the copper out. So he goes all around, fixes everything, hot water tanks, the toilets, everything. So he does need a van, and that's the request for his new van.
Mhm.
And that are the 3 items for water.
Wait, we're gonna be adding one for Craig and Maine?
Yeah, Craig and Maine, we're going to do $1 million, and we're gonna take $1 million off of the wastewater treatment plant bar screen. That $1 million, because it's gonna be borrowed. In talking to Chris Wallen, that big project for the Craig and Maine project, we have some large water mains here. One only goes a couple blocks, but it is a 30-inch main that suffered a break already once last year, where it broke under the bridge. It was expensive for us to get fixed. It wasn't something a city crew could handle. So, like we did with these, with Erie Boulevard, these big projects that are $10, $12 million, we need to really go in and look at the infrastructure before we do all the on top work. So we're gonna $1 million. We're gonna hold off on the bar screens design for a year and put that into the Craig and Maine to make sure those water lines get replaced and everything gets repaired there before we do all the surface work, sidewalks, everything.
And you figure, well, we wanna do a $12, $13 million project, we wanted the infrastructure to be well. We don't wanna do the project, then have to redig it and fix it, So we're trying to stay ahead of the game.
So Anthony, you will do that
Yes, yeah.
transaction,
But this just happened within the last few days, so.
Sewer collection system repairs and improvements is just like above with water. We do lining, we do a lot of things in our sewer system, a lot of repairs, a lot of catch basins. So, again, we're gonna continue to work on major sewer repairs. Vehicles, obviously we need vehicles. A lot of our vehicles are well over 15 years on some of the smaller ones. The pickup trucks, the utility truck with a crane. So those are replacing these old, worn-out vehicles that we're putting a lot of money in. The wastewater treatment plant equipment replaced. There's a list of equipment that it all adds up to different things with return pumps. So we just regrouped it as a equipment replacement. And then the bigger item is the digester number 4 upgrades. The digesters, there are 2 active digesters at the wastewater treatment plant, 1 holding tank and 1 secondary. They were constructed in the early to mid-50s, still utilize them. They still work, but they do need repairs. They reduce the volatile solids content in the sludge that we process. That makes our sludge capable of going to different homes when we dispose of it. So without that, we'd be restricted to more just single landfills where we can move our sludge to different places now. So there's a gas system there. People have gone by and seen the flare burning. So again, it's just one of the processes that it doesn't turn off there. It runs constantly. Like I said, the digesters themselves were mid-50s, so they do need some repairs with concrete work. Some of the roof structures, they need new seals, so new heat exchangers.
So then there was a note here, balance on approximately $7 million will be funded in 2026, so that's gonna be put on hold also because you're moving that $1 million.
Yeah, the wastewater treatment would replace the bar screen design only.
Yeah.
Because the upgrades that were done from the pump station to the force main for the wastewater treatment in the past couple of years, I'll give you a good example. Our plant is designed to do permitted to do 18.5 million gallons a day. When it rains though, we exceed that, but that's not a violation, it's a rain day event. The 45 years I've been around, the most we've seen was Hurricane Floyd was about 39 million gallons. The storm we had, say 2 months ago, we hit 52 million gallons going through the plant. It's never been there, but we have to handle all this flow now. That was part of the consent order that we had. So the bar screens, the design there is to increase those so they can handle more flow. They handle it, but it struggles for them. And they're also probably 15 years old. So we thought we would look at the design this year and get ready. And then if the design is there, we all know that usually when I look at designs, because I want to try and get grant money. And if we're designed and shovel ready, we have the potential to, apply for grant money quicker. The bar screens are working. I wanted to do the design, but if you look at where your real critical needs are, doing $12 million of work on Craig and Maine and not doing the infrastructure, it's a little bit of a trade-off.
Julia Mariano? Go ahead.
So does this does this hurt our ability or likelihood of receiving said grants? Because we're gonna have to hold it off?
No, because it would take them probably a year to do design. I think we'll be fine. I mean, this is just something when you start looking at things, you try and look, at least I do, ahead. And, trying to get a jump start on the design, would have been nice, but we're not, it's not like they're down, they're not gonna fail tomorrow, but it was to get a jump start. But when you have to look and say, what's more critical, where should those dollars be spent, I think it's really great to me.
Any other question? But isn't this holding back the project? I mean, if you have the design and working.
But you have the design, the other thing you gotta realize, once the design is there, that's the design. I think if you wanna look at a budget number to replace those, you're probably gonna look at about $9 million. So, it's a big project, and,
Can't you just do the design?
yeah. In the old days, we had a lot of rigs there, guys would just rig the racks. In my opinion, we can do it here.
Any other question on this category? Seeing none, thank you. Appreciate it. You and all your staff, what you're doing for the city.
Do you wanna?
Do you want to discuss the?
It's up to you, I mean, I didn't know,
Yeah, that's fine.
Discuss.
The grant,
if you have any questions while I'm here.
I don't think that the council's been briefed on it at all.
Okay.
The last time you came, you talked about kind of when you were asking about the seeker,
Right.
but didn't really go into that.
And there was a little confusion. In the seeker, obviously, we discussed that Anthony and I last Monday night. It's type 2, so there's no environmental impact. It's a survey, so there's no impact. But the second part of that was, which we should have put in, was the award of the grant. And I think Derek did send something out this afternoon, and it's whether we can get this in, because we were awarded a grant for $636,025 from the drinking water SRF fund, and we just have to accept that money. It's not going to cost us anything. It's a grant. But it was part of the seeker, and in order for that to go through, we have to have the seeker, which was discussed Monday night, and the council's approval to just accept that grant and move forward. It's 100% grant money. There's no city match. It's just grant money. And I'd like to talk to Derek. I would like to get it done so that we can move forward, because the survey is out. It's on the city's website. We have a lot of work to finish on this survey, and we do have a consultant that's working with us. And now that this grant's available, we can move forward with the consultant and get it done. It's not something that's going to be done instantly, because it does involve we all saw the surveys, whether you have a lead service, a copper service, a plastic, or a galvanized service. And again, we don't have a big response from property owners getting back to us.
The confusion with this, with the grant was, we did the seeker, we knew that was working, because we were told, you gotta have the seeker apply for a grant. So what had happened is, once we let them know that the seeker passed, and it's gonna pass tonight, they told us, okay, we're gonna give you a grant, so we did not have to do the bond ordinance, because they didn't ask us to do the bond.
It's not a bond ordinance, because we're not bonding money.
Usually what you do is,
grant.
Okay, but we only want to be here.
usually what they do is, like, before they give you a grant, they want you to be serious, and what they do is do bond ordinance, so we know you're gonna be serious about doing this project. This one, they were just I think the money, they just wanted to give it to us, so they told us, we got the grant, so we don't need the bond ordinance, and so then we got the grant.
It's not
Contract,
required.
now we just want to accept it.
The bond ordinance is not required as part of the application to receive the grant, so that's where the confusion is. It's just acceptance of the grant, council accepting the grant.
Never got one so quick in my life.
So this money is just to pay for the.
It's just for the survey, yes. It's
Pay consultant and make sure that we have.
consultants, any work, any legwork that will have to be done by any other firms to help us, because there'll be mailing, again, because the one survey went out, we didn't get a very little response. It will help pay if we have to get somebody to do door-to-door, knock on the door, leave a card, and you call and set up an appointment. The survey is required by EPA. It's not something that you can just not do. It's, and
you have that, I'm sorry.
That was kind of my question. What is your plan? Because you said people aren't sending them back.
Wow.
So how do we, if the survey is an absolute must in order to do this, how do we get some level of completion? And is there only a certain amount? Like sometimes you have to get at least 75% of the people in the city. Is there an amount?
100%.
Has to be 100%.
Yes.
Okay.
So what the survey will help pay for
Okay.
is, like I said, the consulting services, mailing services, what I'll call foot services for a company to come in and actually look. We already discussed it internally with our consultant, do like our districts, go door to door and leave cards. If that doesn't work, some cities are actually doing holes before and after the curb box to determine it, because we have to, under the EPA requirement, know if we have a lead service or a copper service or whatever it is. So they're actually boring holes or using a vac truck on each side of the curb box so they can determine what's in there. So it will help us with that. And that's why some of this grant money is there. And hopefully we will be successful in getting it, because an unknown is going to be considered lead. If you, under the EPA regulation, if you don't know, they're going to consider it lead.
Go ahead, please.
Paul's outlined it fairly well there. Again, some of that data is coming in from the survey. We're also having plumbers, when they're out doing regular work on properties, just do an observation of the pipe so they can record it, whether it's lead, copper, galvanized plastic. The timing on this, what we want to move as quick as we can, is that money will help us better put in place the requirements that the federal government's imposing on it, so that we'll have the 100% completion. The reality is we'll never quite get to the 100%. It'll be in the 90s. There'll be some reason in one way or another you won't get in a house. Those will be designated as lead. What is important in this is the cost of this is huge. If we can move ahead of this, and we're moving faster than most communities now, to get that survey in, we would be in better position than for funding for the actual replacement of the lead lines. And that's why moving this, you think, well, 2 weeks doesn't make much difference here and there. It's one of those things where every little bit of incremental difference in this could have an impact on the final project where we're going to be applying for money to do the actual replacements. And so that appreciate the council's consideration in that, and then faster you can move that forward. I think it just sends the message that we're serious about it. It's going to give us the resources to be able to do it and be able to actually implement it, and then qualify us for additional funding going forward.
Also asking me, would it be possible to upload this entire survey on our website?
Already is.
So, I know, but people can access it by creating a username password and
It's
link to their
the
process.
same survey, it's in the format that EPA requires, so every city has the same one. And I checked with Luan today, because it has to be out by tomorrow. He said it's on ours. I didn't look at it, but there's supposed to be a link there. And then that will grow, because if, you know, as we get the surveys in, or, people are also doing this, they're calling us because they're not sure. So we have our water guys that are going out there, they're setting up schedules with homeowners to go in their basement and verify it, and it gets put on the database. Right now, this is just it's gonna be one big database for every community in the country. They're all gonna have the same format. You'll be able to plug in an address, and you'll be able to see whatever address that is in Schenectady and what that service is. And then the next round is going to be, like the mayor said, they're gonna have to be replaced. And we don't own the services, that's in the city code. EPA doesn't really care who owns them. They're gonna have to be replaced, and that's the essence of this survey, is to get this out so when the new round of grant money is available, that we can apply as quickly as possible, and that we have the most we could have in the survey that we can possibly have. So it's gonna grow every day. That is gonna have to be put in. We are working with a firm, 120 Water right now, that is working with us. So
Go ahead.
Sure. Okay, so I was just thinking that this might be another opportunity for us to kind of partner with the school district, right? Because we're constantly, getting, giving and getting information from the community. I think that minimum sharing the link on the school district survey, asking them to distribute it via their social media. But I think that you can kind of leverage some of the structures within the school district as far as the community outreach goes. Especially, it doesn't seem like it's much of a lift, more than just making people aware and asking them to complete the survey from the school districts. And I think that would be a good vehicle to use.
yeah, we're, like I said, once this is gone through, we have a resolution, everything, we can work with our consultant again and go to the next step in more outreach. And
To the mayor's point, thank you, Mayor. I'm thinking of newer municipalities that might have a small mix of, like Waterford, where I came from, very small village, older infrastructure, but then tons of new construction. So everyone knows what their new construction is, and they're gonna be getting their surveys in quicker, not knowing, and the grant money's gonna go out. So again, it's important, I think. Thank you.
86 or 87, but after that was the ban on that.
There you
So
go.
if you pre that date, that's where we really have to look to see if those people will either do the in-home tests and the results, or call us and we'll go in and take a look at it. The house was built in the 90s, we know lead was already banned, so, you know, those houses can be eliminated or put into the survey as, you know, non-lead, so.
So is the consultant on board already?
Pardon me?
You already have the consultant on board? The
We
consultant?
had, yeah, because we had 120 Water working with us, and, you know, now the grant came out, so now we can do more, because now we have grant money. So we can now do another survey, do more mailings, we can, like you said, bring people in to help, because the water department staff can't do it. We, you know, we got 7 guys, we can't go door to door, we just don't have that, so, you know, this grant will help us to, you know, reach out to more people in different ways. Like I said, whether it's mailing, whether it's working with the school, or whether it's just, you know, foot on the ground, going to door to door. And, you know, we want to probably start in the neighborhoods that we know are affected because they're the older neighborhoods. And when, you know, where you have multiple family homes, like 1, 2, 3 units, and you have children at the house. Sort of like the lead paint issue. So, lead paint, lead pipes.
This is something that all of us at this table here is gonna have to help. We're gonna have to put our effort to make sure that we help spread the message out there. And the neighborhood association, if there are meetings that department head and maybe city council are attending, please take a moment to highlight it and to help all of us help spread the awareness and to encourage people to get the survey.
And it's been brought up to
completed.
meetings.
Yeah, I went to one.
You've been to 3 so far?
Pardon me?
3 so far?
I did Vanna, I did Stockade, I did North End, and GE.
4.
Bellevue, unfortunately, was the same night. We were here last Thursday, and at GE, so I spread a little thin.
Oh, yeah.
Me, I'm not sure, would you consider doing a press release out, or have you done
Yes,
one?
yeah.
We can do one from the
It's-
council too, yeah.
It's the type of thing where it's not just one event, it's like every day
Yeah.
you gotta do something to
Yeah.
raise the awareness, get people to fill it out. And Mr. Farley's suggestion on the school district, I think kids a lot of times buy into this quicker than the parents. And they may be able to motivate their parents to look at the pipes and see what it is, where the kids in fact can bypass the parents.
Help them to complete a survey?
The good test is a magnet. The good magnet won't stick to lead. It doesn't stick to lead.
Could be a really good homework assignment.
The magnet stick to copper? The magnet sticks to
It
copper?
won't stick to lead at all.
I know it won't stick to lead, but I didn't think it stuck with copper either.
That's the big test. And I have some things that 120 Water has already given us to, you know, that they've mailed their stuff out. We can work with 120 Water. They've done this with other communities. We're not the first community they've worked with or are working with, so.
Okay. So let us all get on board, we don't have a choice, and make it happen. Any other questions for Paul, or what is the takeaway from this? Are we moving forward anything tonight, or we just, what's the takeaway here?
Well, I thought that my understanding was gonna be brought forth on the next committee cycle. We just got, even though, we just got it today. Even though.
There's no way to move it though, even though it's just saying, we'll take your 637,000.
Because all the council members get what you sent to me?
No.
I sent it to Sam and yourself.
Okay, because it was always, like, I'm just always cognizant of the fact that everyone's not informed and didn't get all the information, including the public. And I just got it today, and I see a hand back there. Yes?
You can. Can you hear?
No, yeah, you can step up, that's fine. No, you're good, you're good. You're trying to get away?
You can send it through by unanimous consent. We do have a resolution written. If the council so chooses, you can choose to pass it tonight unanimously.
Can that share,
It's his.
can that share, the backup documents, email to council now? So that we can get a couple minutes to review it? Please, pass.
You have it? Oh, you don't have the backup, you don't have the backup. And just to be clear, the backup was dated October 7th, but that document was not present at that committee meeting. So just one.
So
The date is not.
who has the document, Derek?
Sam had it, yes, that it wasn't present at the committee meeting, I don't want anyone to think it was there and we all.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't have it.
No, you didn't have
We just got it today also.
Okay.
Can we get a few hard copies? If you don't mind? We're gonna utilize a couple minutes to just address this and see where we are. So let me ask that discussion. I think you mentioned about the surveys uploaded online. So if I were to go online and to log in, I can access that specific code from my property and complete the survey.
No,
You have to put in your ad.
you have to put your address and the survey is just there for data. You can't add anything to that.
Okay.
You can't, you have to send the survey to 120 Water or Phyllis or call and we enter because the general public can't access and change that, you know what I'm saying? So the data is there for you to look at as it grows.
Oh, so look, but you can't.
Yeah, and, you know, a good example is, say you were gonna buy a piece of property, such and such State Street. You could look at that and you'll know, you know, the services, lead, copper, fiber.
No, I was more driven towards the survey online. You can complete the survey by creating a username password and direct to your information with the code. So that way you are specific to what you're asking for.
There's a,
The
Yeah.
QR code on the postcard went to the website, which allowed you to put it in. So when you're going to the website on the city site, you don't put in the QR code, you just put in your address.
the QR code is gonna go, the information you put into the QR code is gonna go to 120 Water. Because they're the ones who developed everything for us.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll enter the data, into the survey. And then, and then you can look at the survey, but the QR code doesn't directly have you input into the, so.
Go ahead, please.
Is there a way for someone to see whether in fact they already did the survey? If they don't remember doing the
Yeah,
survey?
there'll be some lag, because there's a committee, it's not like somebody sitting at 120 Water and just, another one keeps connecting, put it in, another one keeps connecting, so. It's sort of a working process, it's gonna take a while. Good example is, I've tried to get into 17 properties, for another project we're doing, and it's been months, and I still can't get into 4 of them. They don't want to let me, so.
Do you suggest we mail them? I mailed mine, but I was talking with Phyllis, she said just to drop them off, is there a preference?
People have dropped them off to us, people have mailed them. One thing I worry about,
Paul,
not mail, but
can you come, because people complain that they hear somebody in the background talking and they don't know who it is.
a lot of people brought them in fact, one gentleman brought probably about 6 or 7 of them in, 7 apartment buildings, which is nice, because then we get them. The thing with mailing them, sometimes the mail just doesn't get to us.
Yeah.
And sometimes the mail didn't get out. We, gave them, a list from assessment of all the properties where things should be mailed, and even a few people within the water department never received them. But their names were on the list, but sometimes things do get lost in the mail, unfortunately. So that's why we'll do another repeat mailing, because you don't know if somebody just didn't get it. I think the next step, we'll probably put something in, in the media, paper, some other places. And like I said, we are scheduling appointments through staff within the water department to go out, and they've even gone to a couple of properties when people have come home from work, because when people go to work at 8 o'clock, sometimes they go home, and some of my water staff have just gone over to verify it, 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Since they are consideration to do another mailing, will you consider doing a letter from your office to kind of highlight the importance?
Yeah, we're looking at
to help.
all these.
All that would help
If you have
a
any
lot.
suggestions,
Yes.
more than willing to do it.
A direct mailing from your office to highlight the importance and why they should complete it. It's not like you receive it, you just leave it here.
And is there an end date for the survey?
EPA would like to have an end date, but I think reality is, it's gonna take, a lot of municipalities a lot of time to get through everything.
No, I'm just thinking, people are starting to do things around the holidays, and so there'll be places where a lot of people will come and gather, and that might be an opportunity. That's why I wanna know if there's an end date.
We're gonna keep doing it until we know we've got, the mayor said hopefully in the 90th percentile of the properties completed. And hopefully by then, when we're done with that there will be some opportunities to apply for some grant money to actually do the replacements, the service line replacement. Because we know that's gonna be next. The survey is only gonna lead to, the replacements.
Go ahead, please.
I'm sure code, right, because you have to pull a permit so you know what properties maybe have been done over the
We've
past.
looked, we have old index cards that we've tried to find up in the archives. Some of my staff downstairs is very good. Permit process has gotten better. And like the mayor said, when plumbers go in now to pull a permit, they're checking for us because they're going to the house. Normally they're already, residents already let them in because they're gonna do some plumbing work, and it's just really looking at the pipe coming through the wall. It's just, it's capital, for good.
And so the mailings, do they go to the property owners or the property itself? Because
Go to the property owner, the owner of record,
all right,
because to send it just to the,
that was why I wondered.
some tenants are just gonna.
Yeah.
No, they're going, the list that we got from Molly is the actual, where our taxes we got there. And some are gonna end up in, escrows, because some people don't.
Oh, that's true.
So, we're hoping that things get there.
I have a question now about the resolution that been put forward. It says that the agreement with under, therefore, the last one, there's right here. So under the last one, therefore be resolved, it says there's a agreement with CHA. So, is that the company that would also be trying to get people to go door to door, or is that something that?
CHA works with a subcontractor, 120 Water. So,
Okay.
yes.
So they would be the ones
Yes, we would contract with CHA.
to recruit people to go door to door.
They would do everything. They would work with 120 Water, and they would recruit with people to go door to door.
CHA is the engineering firm that has done
I'm
most of our work, so they're the lead on this, and they would work with us. And some of this, I'll say it's coming in slower than we'd like. It's the reality. Whatever community's in, we'll still learn from that. Are there, some neighborhoods where we have more information, other neighborhoods where we don't. So from that, and just our discussion here, hopefully it'll get a little press coverage. And, so where do we have to concentrate our efforts to, again, get that data in place and have it in an accurate manner?
So I'm really familiar with CHA, obviously, but what I was wondering, is there an opportunity, I'm always thinking it's an opportunity for people who are maybe in an underserved community who can go work right within their community and have an opportunity to be able to get this per diem for however long it is. And so for us to be able to have that input as opposed to CHA may have a form that they normally use and they go to people. So how can we maybe have the opportunity to recruit people from the community?
I was thinking of deputizing Mr. Farley's students he identifies.
Let's move a motion.
We might need some adults as well, supervision.
Yeah.
We might need that.
Through
Some
these
of the adults in the
there are
supervision as well,
safety.
yeah.
But seriously, I think
Yeah.
that,
That,
that's
to
something.
be
we should
effective,
consider.
that's definitely something we have to look at.
That's okay.
And normally with these grants, there are force accounts too, so if you want to utilize your own staff, you can utilize that, reimburse yourselves through the grant too. They're called force accounts. So these grants, so if you wanted to, we had some people that wanted to go out and do door to door too, you could get reimbursed.
City staff?
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Those are the force accounts. There is a form in part of the grants that are called force accounts, and you get reimbursed. It's just, it's there if you want to use it. You know, so.
Sounds like you might be on almost a hot jobs program, President.
I beg your pardon?
It almost sounds like you could, might be a jobs program in there somehow or something for.
I think there's people might, young people even, they might want to do it, so, but I think we should present the opportunity.
That's good.
Okay, did you send this to me, the resolution?
No, because we did it late in the day, I just brought hard copies.
I'm just reading the next to last paragraph in the letter about accepting the loan. The date that it gives.
Is the April date?
Yes.
Yeah, so that we have sent here.
Yes, we did. I did that. I sent that in, yes. Yeah, because, this letter came out in March.
29th.
And April 19th, I think it was the day that it had to be, or it was sent. It's, we're,
We've said that we're
yeah,
interested.
we're gonna get the money, yes.
So we actually accepted the grant like months ago.
No, we said that we were pursuing it, we
Right.
wanted to do it. And then the actual award, or said, wasn't given to us till when, Anthony? We said that.
We got the paperwork today, so.
What it is you're in line for the grant. If you want the grant, you send the acceptance. But then you have to do the follow-up paperwork, which is the resolution for the seeker, which is the actual acceptance as a resolution for the grant. This is so that they don't, if you don't respond by a certain date, they're gonna take the money and give it to somebody else. So that money's been on hold. So we have, there's a period of time where we to do certain things. And one is the resolution, yes, the grant is still there, they're just waiting now for resolution on the seeker and a resolution to officially accept the grant, and then they'll do a contract. No contract they just signed, he just signed an acceptance, we would like the grant. So now we'll get it, once we send them this, the grant will be finalized. If we would like the money.
If you like the money.
Right?
Well, it's up to you now.
So this would have to go on for for the unanimous consent, we can't pass out a fine, we have to do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, it's not a finance thing, so
Right.
we all have to, agree.
So, I guess we'll just basically just ask to make sure that everyone, no one is opposed to this. So, I'll start over here.
No opposition to this.
I'm sorry.
No opposition to this.
Oh,
no.
yeah, I'm in
Good.
favor, yes. Vote yes.
Same here, I'm okay with this to move forward.
Totally okay.
I'm in favor of it.
All right, so we'll have to clear it out upstairs for unanimous consent.
Somebody's gonna have to move it from the floor.
Okay, so, Mr. Newberry, do you want to move it from the floor? And then you'll need a second on that, we'd have to take it from the floor.
Yes, we can, yes. So we'll, you have to make any corrections to this? Or?
Yes,
Okay.
one correction.
There's a typo, probably good to.
Yeah, okay. Yes, we'll do that and we'll, yes, I'll move it from the floor and we'll finance, somebody from finance.
Yeah.
Second, doesn't matter.
Can we recess so we can get this work done?
Yes, that's what I want to say. I don't think we have time to go into these reports and things like that. So let's, I'm gonna recess the finance committee for tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. right here, room 110, to continue our budget negotiation.
Sounds good.
Motion on the table.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
I thought,
Oh, Sam. Okay, I'll make, I need